let's get on with the talk. So, our first talk today is from a chap called Dave Birss. Now, I'm very fortunate, as much as I've known Dave for an awfully long time, but in case you don't know him, he is LinkedIn Learning's #1 course on AI. There are more people around the globe taking their education into the world of generative AI through Dave Birss. He's a successful author. He's a successful keynote speaker. He was once a live nude model. He's been in bands. There isn't an awful lot that Dave Birss hasn't done, but I am incredibly pleased to welcome here today. So without further ado, Dave Birss.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's up to me to press the button to go next. There we go. Some of you might have seen me speak before. You probably heard me banging on about creativity, how to have more ideas, how to have better ideas, how to sell your ideas. Well, I'm not going to talk about any of that today. Instead, hello, folks. I'm Dave. I had a bit of a journey last year. This time last year, I was still talking about creativity and innovation. And then in March, LinkedIn Learning launched my first course on generative AI, how to research and write using generative AI, and I was teaching people prompt engineering in that course. It became quite popular. I did another 5 courses for them. I ended up speaking to top business people all over the world last year. It was a bit of a journey, and before I get into actually talking anymore about any of this stuff, I want you to get your phones out, and I want you to use this QR code to get a little web tool. And this little web tool, once you've got it on your phone, I want you to hold it up because it gives you a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Quite simple. You tap the screen, goes from a green thumbs up to a red thumbs down. Once you've got it, let me see. Let me see the green thumbs up. Oh, no, it doesn't do that. It's a face. There you go. It's a face and a bot. All right? Let me see your phones if you've got it. You got it working? Fantastic. Great. Because you're going to do a little bit of voting at the moment. It's time for our game show. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to play Bot or Not? Woo! Oh, that was awesome. Woo! Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some images, and you are then going to hold up your phone so that you can vote on whether you think this image was created by a human or whether you think it was created by AI. Here we go. First one. This image here, was it created by a human? Was it created by AI? Get the right image in your phone and hold it up so I can see. Okay, human, no, a couple of bots there. Human, mainly. You got it right. Well done. There we go. What about this image here? Was this created by a human or was it created by AI? Let me see. We're getting mainly AI. You're right. Well done. What about this image here? Was this created by a human or was it created by AI? What do you think? We've got lots of bots. Oh, more humans have come in there. Mainly bots. You're absolutely right. Incredible. What about this image here? Was this created by humans or AI? Have a look. Okay, we're getting human. Yes, mainly overwhelmingly human. It was AI. Sorry, folks. What about this image here? Am I tricking you now? That's been 3 AIs in a row. Am I tricking you? Is this human or is this AI? We're getting human. You're absolutely right. Well done. What about this image here? This image of a close-up of a grasshopper, human or AI? We're getting human, we're getting AI, we're getting mainly human. Oh, it's AI, would you believe it? Last image here, human or AI? What do you think, human? AI? Oh, it's a 50-50 one, this. Oh, it's human, there you go. Well done. So, it's been incredible the journey that we've been on in the last year, going from having people with like 8 fingers in one hand and all sorts of stuff, to having stuff that is incredible, the imagery that we've got and the stuff that we can do with ChatGPT. One of the interesting things for me, though, is that we're in a cycle, and we have been as long as humans have been around. We've been in this cycle where humans shape the world that we're in, and then the world that we have created shapes us. So if you think that we created the airplane, and the airplane turned us into international creatures, and that totally changed the way we viewed the world. We got the internet. The internet turned humans into searchers. And by searching for information the way we do in the internet, it's affected the way that we retain information. Bitcoin has turned people into intolerable bores. And if anyone wants to argue with that, you can talk to me afterwards, and I will just yawn directly into your face, if that is all right. So I want to take you through a journey through how technology is affecting humans by looking at it through the lens of art. Look at this incredible picture here. Isn't it crap? It is a pretty crap picture. Painted in 1290 by unknown, or maybe it's just by somebody who didn't want to admit that they did it. It's not a great image. I mean, look at it here. We've got, it's Mary and Jesus, and if you look at the size of Jesus' head, can you see that? That clearly the painter had never actually seen an actual baby. And one of the friends said, hey, no, don't worry, it's got a great big head like a watermelon. And the artist said, no, don't be ridiculous. It's like a real, actual grown man standing in the distance. You know, so look at Jesus in this. Absolutely ridiculous. What a pathetic way of painting a baby. But the one thing that they did get right is for anyone who has ever had a child, look at Mary's expression on her face. That is the expression of a newborn mother who is absolutely exhausted. And the child is pulling at her shawl, and she's going, Jesus! Because that was his name. Would you stop doing that? And that's about the only thing that they actually managed to get right. So let's have a look at this next image here. That was a couple of hundred years later. Look at it. It's pretty much photorealistic. It's incredible where you've got the background, you've got the shading and the texture and the cloth, you've got the skin texture. It's absolutely incredible. However, the only thing that they didn't really get right was they thought that Jesus was from Ireland rather than the Middle East. And you can imagine the people in the village looking at this Jesus here and going, yeah, I don't think he's Joseph's. I think maybe Ed Sheeran was around here at some point. And then we've got, like, here we go. Here's another sort of bad painting. This is a painting of Jesus. You can tell it's Jesus. He's got red hair. But you can see here that Jesus is actually, he's on a Zoom call. And he's not quite centered. He's down in the frame. He's sitting in front of a window. You can see angels high-fiving outside behind him there. And if you look at his eyes, he's staring down at the screen because he's reading an email. He's not even listening to the call. So you can see this terrible picture, 1380. Look, not much longer. 53 years later, you've got Caravaggio. Now, this isn't Jesus. I know that the red thing in his head, it's not actually hair. This is the portrait of a man who didn't know how to put on his red trousers. And but look at it, absolutely incredible. The lighting, the shadow, the texture, the cloth, absolutely amazing. How did we go from crap-looking pictures to pictures that are almost photorealistic in such a short time? Well, a lot of art historians believe that it was because people just learned to draw better. And David Hockney believes that that is bullshit. He believes that they started to use technology because round about this time, there was the Harlem Guild of painters and mirror makers. This was the same people in the same guild, painters and mirror makers. It both goes in a frame. It's a picture in a frame, painters, mirror makers. And round about this time, they started to be able to create convex and concave mirrors. And it's quite incredible what you can do with this kind of technology. We believe that this painting here was the first one to really be able to use, that we can use this technology, even although the artist never admitted to it. This is Brunelleschi's painting of the baptistry in Florence. Look how incredible the detail is in this. Let's compare it to the photograph. Go back. You know, that is absolutely amazing. So this picture here, it's only about that size. And we've been able to demonstrate that if you use a mirror, a convex mirror, you can actually replicate what he did here and be able to draw in this amount of detail. So I actually did it with a shaving mirror at home. And I thought I would give you a demonstration here of how this works.
For this experiment, we're just going to use a standard shaving mirror that I've got here, but we're going to be using the other side of the shaving mirror. This is the convex side, which allows us to focus light. Let me show you what happens when I take the image from outside, just what's happening outside the window, and I reflect it off a concave mirror onto the wall. As I move the mirror backwards and forwards, you can see that the image gets focused or goes blurry. So let's use that to create a quick drawing. It's upside down, as you can see, and it's not a great drawing, but you can see how the simple technology of a concave mirror could make a huge impact on the world of art.
So this was only one technology that came around, using the mirrors like that. You'll also have seen things like the camera obscura, and some of you might have seen something called a camera lucida, which used a prism, so that you were able to look directly down at your paper or your canvas, and you were also able to see a ghosting of the image of what was happening over there. It's absolutely incredible. You started to use technology like this, and this is technology that went on to become photographic technology. And you can see that this started to drive a trend for photorealism in painting. So we look here at Rembrandt, and some researchers in 2016 discovered that you could use mirrors and lenses that were available at the time to be able to recreate how he did his self-portraits. Then Johannes Vermeer, this is the woman with the pearl navel ring. You can't see it here. Then this is the Haarlem Painters Guild. So as where I'm saying in the Netherlands, this is where the mirror makers were doing their stuff. So here in the Haarlem Painters Guild, this was painted by the chap second from the left. You can see that he's leaning on the back of somebody else's, showing off the size of the chocolate coin he just picked up in Starbucks. Huge, eh? There's a guy beside him, is bored, he's saying, I wish I was painting this one. The other guy's taking a drinks order, and the other person pointing at the drinks order and saying, no, it was a Jägermeister I was wanting, not a wine spritzer. Then the guy came in late from the left there, and he's not very well lit, as you can see. They didn't really bother much with him. So you can see we started to get a lot more photorealism. So a lot of these, they really are the kind of composition that we would get from cameras later on. And even like this, the fact that the light is behind them, so they're pretty much in shadow. All of that stuff is incredible. This was photographic captures, but they were done in paint. And this just became an increasing trend through painting. But we need to rewind now to the beginning of photography. Because in the beginning of the 1800s, we started to get photographic techniques. Now, this is taking a lot of the same equipment that painters were using these lenses that they had been developing to be able to project things onto canvases. Now we're projecting stuff onto sheets that were primed with chemicals to be able to capture the image. So this is the earliest surviving photograph. It's at the University of Texas in Austin. Joseph Niepce, 1826. I mean, I think he had his thumb over the lens when he took it. From the look of it, it's really sort of not very distinct. Then you can see here the earliest surviving daguerreotype. At this point, we can see that they're really using the kind of composition that you would get from painting. So they're taking the language of painting, but they're capturing it using photography. Now, here is the earliest photo of a human that we've got, 1838. If you look at these streets here, these streets were actually really busy. This is a really busy part of Paris. But when you have got an exposure time of 10 minutes, all of these moving people disappear as they become just a smudge through the photograph. So it looks as if the streets are empty, but they're not. They're full of people. There was 2 people who stayed still for this 10 minutes. If you look here, the shoe shine boy and the guy getting his shoes shined. This is the earliest photograph of humans, totally accidental. And then, obviously, it seemed to catch on, and we then get the earliest surviving selfie. Robert Cornelius, if you look at his ears, you can see he's actually an elf. Then we've got the earliest color photograph, 1861. And one of the things that we found then was that the artists were worried about what was happening with all these photographers coming along, stealing their work, because photography was getting better and better. So they tried to put down photography. Started saying things like, well, as long as invention and feeling constitute essential qualities in a work of art, photography can never assume a higher rank than engraving. What an absolute burn on engravers, huh? But they basically started saying, photography, it's crap. It's just not painting. Here we go again. Photography couldn't qualify as an art in its own right because it lacked something beyond mere mechanism at the bottom of it. Does anyone agree with that now? Probably not. And then here's another one. Wah, wah, wah. And this is what we hear right now. Over the last year, people who have been traditional creatives, creators, artists, have been saying that AI just isn't as good. It just doesn't write as nicely as real humans do. Actually, it can write better than most humans do. It just can't write as well as somebody who's excellent at writing. But give it time. It's the same with images. People are saying it's just not the same. It's just not the same. But one of the amazing things that happened to the world of art, it took a few years, but artists stopped trying to go for photorealism. And they started painting things that were not photorealistic. Here we go, 1905, Fauvism came along. Then you get Expressionism, also in 1905. Cubism in 1907. Futurism, 1909. 1915, Dadaism. 1924, Surrealism. These are things that you could not do with photography. Artists reacted against realism. After they'd been going for that, hell for leather, they reacted against it and created amazing stuff that we would probably never have had if it wasn't for photography coming along and stealing their lunch. And this is it about creative people. This is what's so exciting. Creative people, they react to what's around them. And a lot of the time, they will try and do the exact opposite because you don't get noticed by doing the same. So they react against it to do something that's new and different. And that really excites me. However, we're currently not there yet. At the moment, people are using AI to copy what they do without AI. So I don't know if many of you have seen this. This won the prestigious Ohio State Art Fair in 2022. It was created in Midjourney. And only after the person had won did people start going, hold on a minute, that was created by AI. And all of these artists who'd spent years developing their skills, had spent hours on their artworks, were then complaining because, well, what you did, you just put in a prompt. Actually, it's not quite as simple as that. For those of you who do AI art, you'll know that it takes a lot more effort than that to get to good stuff. But this won this prestigious art prize. And maybe you've seen this from last year. This won a prize at the Sony Photography Awards. And afterwards, the artist, Boris Eldikson, admitted that it was done using Midjourney again. And he handed his prize back and said, I just wanted to make a point that this is getting as good as photography. And that, to me, is absolutely extraordinary. So I decided to take a bit of a look and see what are the different pockets of creativity that AI is actually having a go at. So I took creativity. I don't believe creativity is one thing. I believe it's a whole bunch of different skills. I broke it down, and I had a look to see which ones are people trying to replicate using AI. And all the ones that are replicated, people have tried to replicate in AI, are in green. Yeah, all of them. And then I had a look to see what ones is AI not quite as good at yet. And I narrowed it down to those in red. It's not great at judgment. Humans are great at judgment, but it's not great at judgment. It's not great at having taste. It's not great at conceptualizing. And this is one of the things my old industry of the advertising industry has been trying to sort of put down AI, particularly at the beginning, just saying it doesn't come up with decent ideas. It's just not really any good. That is true. It's not great at conceptualizing, but it's absolutely phenomenal at executing, and it can help in so many other different parts of the creative process. So if AI is getting good at all of this stuff, where does it leave humans? And I think the next slide is the most exciting slide. It's a breakthrough. I want to share with you my answer to this, because it really genuinely excites me, the answer to this question. Where does that leave humans? I don't know. This excites me because it's a world of possibilities. We do not know yet. Things are going to move on. This is phenomenal. What an exciting time to be looking at the world of creativity, because we don't know where it's going. When art, for so much of its period, settles down into a language, into a particular way of doing things, we have no idea what the new language of art is. We have no idea what is possible. We have no idea where human creativity, human ingenuity is going to lead us in self-expression. That, to me, is so exciting. And we don't know what it's going to do to business either. Sorry, they didn't like my last slide. They're coming to take me away. So one of the things that I did when it came to business was I realized that a lot of people in business were approaching AI wrong. They're approaching it in a way that could be harmful to their business, particularly harmful to their staff in the way that they're going to implement it, in a way that they would give some of the stuff that was very human to the technology and take away the human stuff to turn people into machines. And that's a really dangerous and stupid thing to do. So I decided to create a document to help, because I've been helping lots of companies with this over the last year. So I created the Sensible AI Manifesto, that if you're interested in something like this, then just go along there. You should all have your phones up right now. That's an instruction there. Right? That this here has got 7 points on how you can actually implement AI in a way that's wise, in a way that's going to be responsible, in a way that's going to be ethical, and help you get the most value out of it. So I launched this on the 1st of January, and it's been quite popular so far. So I thought I'd share it with you, just as a way of me saying, that's me done. Thank you very much. I love you. Look after yourself. See you soon.